I'm Jade McNeil and welcome to the BEESPACE Podcast, your bi-weekly dose of business and property realness. No hype, no fluff, and definitely no BS. Just honest conversations about what it really takes to build something from nothing. Hello and welcome back to the BEESPACE Podcast with me, your host, Jade McNeil. This is the second part to the Start, Grow and Scale series. And in this episode, I'm going to be focusing on what it's like to be in the growth period of creating your property business. So who am I talking about? Well, probably we're looking at somebody that is typically working from 0 to 5 assets over a time frame of around 2 to 4 years. And I really want to start this episode by saying something truly radical. Are you ready? If you own or intend to own and develop property out, then guess what? Big news. You have a legitimate business. Now you may be thinking, what on earth are you talking about? Over the years, I've had the real pleasure of working with property developers at all different stages. Okay, so right at the start, right in the middle, and kind of like really scaling up. And I've worked with people that have got portfolios that are worth north of £3-5 million, but yet they themselves have no internal systems, no processes, no team, no strategy, and we have to go in and we have to rewire the machine, as it were. So this episode for me is really about ring fencing early for somebody. Consider these things, and I promise you, as you grow, they will 100% make the whole process a lot nicer and a lot more pleasurable, because it's all about, in my world, being proactive and not reactive. Okay, so we want to get ready for something so we're good to go and not react to it and think, oh, this is a problem and I need to go in and sort this. So where do we begin? Basically, if you want to grow a business, you've got to grow a team, right? Businesses are about teams. They're not about individuals. They're about the team that's in it. And in this part of growing a property portfolio, typically the people, from my own experiences and from my network around me in this stage, the people that they're going to need to bring into their business in terms of, in-house support, so not our outsource experts, which we're going to talk about later, like in-house, typically tends to be people that can support on the admin and operations side of the business. So really helping us to organise that back end of paperwork and online support that we're going to need, so we can be focusing on, keeping the development pipeline full and keeping the projects moving forward on time and ideally on budget. So this may mean that one of your first hires that you make at this stage is that you get a VA, virtual assistant, in the business. So this may be someone that's based abroad, or maybe somebody that's based in the UK. And I've definitely done both over the years. And about 3 years ago, settled on my PA, who's called Andrea, who's fantastic and organises my life and supports across all different aspects of the BEESPACE business as well. And she's based out in the Philippines. So that actually really worked for us. We found the right person for the job role, and she's a huge part of the business. It could be within this growth period that you look to potentially start to bring your own in-house lettings in if your portfolio is big enough. So this would be what I deem as your operations manager. So this is someone that can take care of your assets, look after your tenants, probably support in some other areas as well. So these two people will be pretty vital. So when I'm talking about team at this stage, I'm talking about in-house, okay? So these people can be on retainers, or eventually, you may look to employ these people, which is the setup that we currently have in BEESPACE. So where do we go from here? We've got some team, we've got some people. What do they need then? Well, they're going to need systems, right? And I know, I get it, systems, that word, that dirty word. I'm not a systems person. Listen, I'm definitely not a systems person, but business is all about understanding your weaknesses and understanding where you need to draft in your experts to strengthen your weaknesses, right? And this is where your admin and your ops manager are going to come in and help you create the systems and the processes that you need to make your business a nicer place to be. So typically, basic level, the sort of systems that you are going to have in the business for your team to use, well, first of all, you're going to have somewhere where you communicate with your team. Now, I'm quite well known for my hatred of WhatsApp for business. It's a bit of a running joke in my circles. God, don't WhatsApp Jade. No, do not WhatsApp Jade, okay? For me, it feels too personal, and I can't track conversations. I can't refer back to things, and I can't organise. Now, I'm personally really busy. If you go back to episode 1 and I give an overview of where the BEESPACE business is at today, there's a lot happening day to day, lots of different areas, and I have to be in them all at any one time. And the only way for me to do that is by being able to drop into certain communication, look back, understand and respond, review, etc. The place that we do that as a business is in Slack. And Slack is a great communication tool. It's used in many huge corporations across the world. It's a great tool where you can separate conversations out by name, and therefore when you're going into something, that's the thing that you're going to talk about. So I'd highly recommend that as your main communication tool for your team. Go into Slack. I try and get as much of my life onto there as humanly possible. So my business partners are on there. My marketing is on there. Like everybody I can is on there, just so I can organise and ring fence communication and time. All right. So that's the first one. How are we going to communicate with your team members? Second one, where are you going to track tasks and where are you going to store ideas and content? So our two go-tos for this are Asana and Trello. So generally speaking, from experience, Asana is kind of like more of a to-do list form. For us, we use Trello more creatively. So I think if you're led more creatively, you might feel better in Trello and getting your team in there. Or if you're more kind of structured and data-driven, then Asana might work better. And remember, I'm just high-leveling these systems at the minute. There's again, so many details and options within them that you can utilize within your business. But it's important to think, okay, well, where do we, put that task and how do I know if that's been done? The third one is, where's your shared space? Where's your shared drive? So we use OneDrive because it started off with a really great free package and then we upgraded. So we use that as a business. We have used Google Drive in the past. I know many people do. And on a personal level, I like to use Dropbox as well. So I think that one functions really nicely. So there's loads out there. There's absolutely loads. But come what may, you're going to need that. And you're going to need to have spaces where, you've got sections within it where it's about the houses. It might be contracts. It might be like legal stuff. It might be lending stuff. It'll be project management. It'll be like so many different things. But having that space that you can pick your phone up, go into, find the answer, so your business is efficient and scalable is super important to get that set up as early as possible. So that's the in-house team and kind of to get going what they're going to need. Then in this stage, we're going to have to, unfortunately, kiss some frogs. Okay. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean, at this stage, we've got our experts are actively working for us. So I'm, considering the build team. We're working with brokers. We're working with solicitors. We've got our accountant. We've got our architect, potentially working with a local planning consultant, and you're not always going to work with these people forever. You're going to have to kiss some frogs and kind of build the relationships, and some will work inevitably and some won't. And some will be experts in some areas and some won't. So an example of that would be like mortgage brokers, right? So as you go through this phase, it might be that the type of lending that you require is much simpler. And then as your projects start to get a little bit bigger, they might become more technical. So you might need more of a commercial-led broker as opposed to, a simple high street for a buy-to-let style broker. Things will change. So your experts inevitably will change along the way. But building those relationships with those outsourced experts in your team are super important. I think it's also really valuable to mention the other people that you're going to need in and around your properties when they're done. So I'm referring to getting a really good cleaning team and maintenance team and gardeners, and just looking after the buildings that you own it's such a benefit to have great people on the ground for you that you can pick the phone up to and get things sorted. Like that's really really valuable in this area, just to uphold customer service and really look after your product. The other thing that's going to happen, and this is one of my very favorite subjects, is in this area, in this growth period, we really need to make the decision about brand. Okay, so do we want to create a recognizable brand? Obviously, if you know me, if you know BEESPACE, the brand, if you've followed me online, or if you've gone to my website, you'll know that I'm all about the brand. That's my background, and I know how powerful it can be in any market. So I would actively recommend that you start to consider if this is something that you really want to create. So why should you create a brand? Well, yes, it's great to have a recognizable product that people see and notice and can buy into, but also it's very scalable. Okay, in terms of the systems behind the brand, with your interiors and your products and your materials, once you've got that look and feel defined, it's very much a case of slightly tweaking and evolving, of course, but also rolling out. So there's a whole systemization piece that can be done when you're branded as property developers. Now, this is something, I run a branding and design program, which I've trained many people from the Instagram community. And this is about how you create that brand, and then you scale it within your buildings so people can identify your buildings. And that is a process that, over doing many projects over the years and having client projects and just having a lot going on, it's like I have to make this process more efficient. So I created my branding and design program, and that's super accessible. And please reach out to me on an Insta DM at @3_BEESPACE if you want to know more about that. But that program is a really in-depth psychological kind of like brand-led program about why you want to have the brand that you do, where you sit in the marketplace, what the values are, and then define and look and feel. And actually, in this market of property development, our customer, i.e. our tenants, they want more. They want more from the buildings that they're in, right? They expect it, like commercially. Think about, your bars, your restaurants. They want that experience. And by facilitating brand in our buildings, that is the way that we can make that happen. I'm just going to jump in and interrupt this episode. Now, if you listened to the first part of the Start, Grow and Scale series, you will have heard that I had a very exciting announcement. I am going to be hosting my next all-female face-to-face event, which is going to be on the 14th of June in my hometown of Nottingham. I am opening the doors to everybody in my community, or the wonderful females in my community, to join me at the Start, Grow and Scale event. Now, what to expect on the day. So if you're listening to this episode and you are at the grow stage and you're thinking, okay, I've kind of cut my teeth, I know a little bit, but I'm feeling a bit uncertain about where to go next and what to do, then come to this event and meet some seriously inspiring ladies that have been there, done that, worn a t-shirt and survived it. On the day, we'll be having lots of beautiful food, there'll be drinks, and it's just really a chance to be around like-minded people, to take a day out for you, out of the business, and kind of immerse yourself in the community and just have a really nice time. And, I know, because people have told me, they always leave my events feeling really inspired and feeling really connected. So if this feels like something you'd like to come and join and be part of, then all you need to do is head to our show notes below, pop your name on the link to join our mailing list, and on Friday, when tickets go on sale at the end of the Start, Grow and Scale series this week, you'll be the first to hear about it. So yeah, come and join in June the 14th. Hope to see you there. I promise it'll be an afternoon of just wonderful, inspiring stories. And yeah, I really hope to see you there, and head to the show notes below. Now let's get back to the episode. The other part of brand is thinking about social media, right? I know it's not for everybody. Trust me, at times it's not for me either, but thinking about social media and why we should use it. Now, we have to be smart with the assets that we're creating, all right? And in this particular period of development, we are really building those solid foundations. We are making the mistakes, yes, we're learning from them. We're getting the first round of real awkward challenges and kind of having to navigate our way around them. Your social media is a real authentic way to document that. For me, on the social media, Instagram is my chosen stomping ground. I just see it as a visual CV. I see it as an asset. I see it as a way to document, to show people what we're about, to send out our message. And what that kind of means in this phase is that you can use this visual CV to potentially talk to someone that you might start working with on private investment. Okay. Further on down the line, it goes a level deeper for us. And actually, we use it as part of our direct-to-vendor campaign for our vendors. And in quite a few cases, actually, with complex lending, they've asked for various assets to prove competency. And we use the BEESPACE Instagram as well. Here we go. We've got all these years of proof here, as well as this website and these books and blah, blah, blah. It's just another asset. So I think the social media side, it's just important how you view that in your property business. And this particular 2 to 4 year period is a great time to be actively documenting what you're doing and understanding the benefit of it. So that's a key consideration. Now, let me be frank with you in this 2 to 4 year period. Something's most likely going to happen that happens to us all. You're going to run out of money. It is inevitable. You're not going to do every single deal, take all your money out and have that initial investment pot forever and ever. You're going to leave money in deals. Your investment pot's going to reduce. So what do we do? How do we continue developing? Now we've proven our methods and what we do, and we've got a set of results. Well, it's about this time that we actively start to think about working with private finance. Now, I know to many people, because I obviously support a lot of businesses in this growth stage through my mentoring and business coaching programs, that first raise of private finance can feel a bit there's often those kind of thoughts of, why would anybody want to privately back me? I wouldn't know what to say. How do I go about it? So on and so forth. And I get that. I've 100% been there myself in the past. So what we need to do here is refer back to the social media. As I mentioned, that is a fantastic asset to document, your learnings and what you're doing, good and bad, along the way. And that's truly authentic and transparent, hopefully, for most people. And thinking about the brand side, that commitment to creating that brand, it sends out a message. It sends out a huge message that you're taking your business seriously. So thinking about raising the private finance, we need to get our tools in order. So at this stage, we would really be looking at creating an investor pack. All right. So, and that would be where we ring fence. Okay, this is who we are. This is what we do. This is what we offer. These are our previous results. These are the sort of deals that we're looking at, so on and so forth. Now, where do you go with these assets? From my own experiences and from many, many, many around me, it tends to be from those closest to you when you do your first raise. The reason for that is because they are the ones that have watched you on social media. They are the ones that have taken an interest in what you've created, and can see the commitment to what you've done, and you can see that you're getting results from it. So often it's just about getting those tools in the right order, and just having those conversations, knowing your numbers, so on and so forth. But you would be pleasantly surprised that there will be people around you that really want to help you grow your business and believe in what you do. It's also around this time that we're starting to grow, we're starting to be noticed, and inevitably what's going to happen is we may get lots of interesting opportunities come to our door. Some people want to start to have part of the action. And what's really, really important at this stage is to dig deep, is to absolutely remember and commit to what you've started and why you've started it. And it's important to remember why you've chosen the strategy you have, not to get shiny penny or swept up in some movement on Instagram, and to stick to it and to do what you've set out to do, because this is the core foundation building stage. And you want to make these foundations absolutely rock solid. And by committing and sticking to it and not getting distracted, that is how you will achieve solid foundations in this stage, okay? The other thing that you're going to face at this stage is you are also going to get a lot of knockbacks, right? You're going to get a lot of knockbacks, and it's tough. It is tough. Now, what sort of knockbacks am I referring to? I mean, it might be on lending, it might be with vendors, it might be all sorts of different things, and things get slightly trickier and more technical. But listen, that's business, and this is a business. Like, that's just what happens. And that's why, if you refer back to episode 1 in the start episode, that's why building that support, network around you, whether it's, people online or like in your local area, it's really important, because trust me, like, you're going to need to talk to these people. You're going to need to say, oh my God, this thing happened. I feel like this. And they're going to turn around and go, yeah, happened to me too. And guess what? Like, I'm all right. I survived it. And that's going to be super, super valuable to you in this stage. For me, this is a really, really exciting stage of property development. And it is about really digging deep and just, sticking to the reasons why you've started this business, and definitely not trying to run before you can walk. Like, learn it. I mentioned in previous episodes that we, on the HMOs, because that's what we focus on now, we went literally 3 beds, 4 beds, 5 beds, 6 beds, 7 beds, blah, 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 blah. Steady, steady, steady. And that's what this phase is absolutely all about. It's also really important for me to just say that there is no perfect deal. There's no perfect result, and there's no perfect deal. But if you've done your work, you've got the team in place, you're being methodical, and you've built good relationships, and you're working with good people, you will not go far wrong. Honestly, you will not go far wrong. I've seen many, many people come and go over the years, and it's those that really commit to this phase of business and don't try and rush ahead and don't try and take over the world. They're the ones that are still around today. So I really, really hope that this episode has been helpful, right? If you would like to know more about working with me, if you're in the growth stage of your business and you feel like, I need someone to kind of hold my hand a little bit and just be a sounding board and give me some direction, then look, reach out to me, because I've supported many business at this stage. I've absolutely been in this position. So if you reach out to me on Instagram at @3_BEESPACE, or head over to my website at www.b-space.uk, I would love to hear from you. And don't forget, business, it's a hard game, and the more support that you've got around you, the better that you'll find the ability to be able to scale up to the next level. That's a wrap for another episode of the BEESPACE Podcast. I've been your host, Jade McNeil, property developer, mentor, and business coach. Don't forget to subscribe on your favourite platforms. And until next time, remember, don't believe the hype and always keep it real.